Hi guys, it's Rachel. Today I wanted to, today's gonna be a little bit of a different video than what I've done on here in the past. But I wanted to show you kind of one of my current month-long projects. So as opposed to it being my bullet journal, this one is what I'm doing for my family for Christmas. I thought it would be fun to give everybody something kind of handmade this year. And so this year I am knitting Christmas ornaments, monogrammed Christmas ornaments for everybody in my family. So I thought this was kind of a fun project, and I realized it might be kind of fun to show the process of knitting all these ornaments and kind of some of the challenges I ran into along the way. So I thought I would take you along with me for the ride. Yeah, so I picked up this from the public library, which is my favorite resource for knitting patterns because they're all there and they're all free. So this is 55 Christmas Balls to Knit by Arnie or Arn, I'm not sure, and Carlos. And they have a whole bunch of these cool, like, traditional colorwork patterns. They don't just do this, they do, like, obviously these sweaters and mittens, I believe. They have a bunch of books. So that's kind of cool. At this point, I should go into this. My goal here is to have, wow, this is really convoluted, isn't it? My goal is to have these all done by the start of December, if I can. Today it is Tuesday, November 22nd. That gives me 8 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, not including today, to finish these all. And they're pretty quick to knit up, but we'll see. I'm getting better at color work as I go along. It has always kind of been a weakness of mine. So this is a good project to do it because they're small and they get done fast, and then you kind of fluff them out and they look good and it makes you feel more confident. Yes, so I go through, chart out, choose the pattern, chart out the letter. The next step then is to cast on according to the stitch counts. I will show you more in detail as we go along. So let me get off of the camera and put the camera up so that I can show you what I'm talking about. You itchy? No, it's okay. You look kind of chilly. Do you want to be in my robe? Okay, let me put the camera down. I'll set that up for you. Hi. Okay. Oh, sorry, we're a little, okay. So it is now December 3rd. So obviously I didn't make my goal of getting them all done by the end of November, but I'm okay with that because I actually am almost done. And mainly what I didn't want was to be stressfully like making them in the day before Christmas. So where we're at right now is I have 6 of them done, and I'm working on number 7. And I took footage of that, so that should be good. And right now I am going to finish up number 7, which is for my granddad, Larry. So he's gonna get an L bead pattern and a Christmas tree motif for his. You like can't even see this, that's fine. So I thought I would just kind of hang out and have some good knitting time this afternoon. This is like the first day it's been down to like -4 and it's quite chilly, and that always makes my back act up. So I'm like trying to spend all afternoon in my good chair for my back. So yeah, let's get started knitting. Hi, so it is December 15th now, and this is kind of my wrap up to my project. So, got my notes, I've got my patterns. Yeah, so to start with, I started these, this project, these ornaments, kind of around November 15th, I want to say. I didn't write it down, which I should have, but somewhere around there, somewhere in the middle of November, after I finished my job that I was doing, which was when I had time to work on them. So that would have been when I started. And I ended them on December 13th. So it took me about a month to make all the ornaments, all 10 of them. I made 10 ornaments, 1 for each of my 4 younger siblings. My puppy Cora, who looks like she's about to start. Cora, can you be polite? Cora. Cora, they're playing. It's okay. Do you need a snuggle? Do you need a snuggle to feel better? Come on. Cora, it's okay. Cora. Do you want a pencil? Do you want a pencil? Do you want to chew this up and run away with it? Oh, what is it? It's a pencil. I got your attention. Yeah, good girl. Hi. Yeah, you can't have it. It was all a ploy to get you a snuggle. It'll make you feel better. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so sweet. Oh, I know. It's so hard when you can't play in the basement with them. Come on up. Come on up on my lap. Do you come on up? Do you come on up? Do you come on up? Wow. Oh, yeah, you're so sweet. I can't believe she went for this. It's because the pencil. You can't actually have it though. Sorry. Sometimes you just gotta kind of do a bait and switch. What you needed was a snuggle, isn't it? Good girl, yeah. Oh, so lucky. Yeah, so 4 for siblings, 1 for this one, and 2 for my parents, and then 1 for each of my living grandparents, my grandma, who lives here in Minnesota, and my granddad, who lives in North Carolina. So yeah, that's 10 ornaments altogether. Each one had a unique color work design. 9 of them were from the book. 1 of them I charted up to match my brother's Christmas interest, which was Christmas cookies. They didn't have one for that. So I designed one for him. And then each of them had an initial made out of beads that I replaced one of the color work panels in the book with. The book that I used is Arnie and Carlos's 55 Christmas Balls to Knit. I think that's the title. I'll double check when I link it in the description. But yeah, I borrowed it from my local library to make presents for everybody because I broke. And that was the way that I could get my hands on it, which is a great tip if you're like me and you're knitting on a budget. Check the library for patterns because you would be surprised what kind of stuff you can find in the crafting section of your library. I know my local Hennepin County Twin Cities metro area libraries are really, really good, so I'm very lucky with that. But most libraries do have a crafting section where you can find cool stuff. Yeah, so that was what I used, and then I used 2 tubes of size 6 beads. I think they were 3mm. I'm not a beader, so I don't know like the technicalities of beads, but I'll pop up a image on screen of them. I used 2 balls of white Patton's worsted wool in their like Aran color, which is the kind of more natural off-white color, and 1 ball in red. I used double pointed needles. It took 2 packs. I think they're the Susan Bates ones that you can find at Joann Fabrics or Michael's. No, they're the ones from Joann because they I can't remember what size it was. I'll pop it up there, but they don't write them on the needle, so I'm not sure what size it was, but whatever size it was, they come in this kind of not as pretty gold color at Michael's and this way prettier icy blue color at Joann's. So I picked up 2 packs from Joann's. And I picked up 2 packs because you want to spread your stitches out across 4 needles for the 4 panels of each ornament, and obviously have a 5th one to knit onto. So I needed 5 and they only came in packs of 4, so I had 3 extras, I guess, but it was worth it for the ease of lining up the increases and decreases without having to count, just knowing it was 1 in from each stitch on each needle. And then I used a crochet hook to crochet chain the loops that the ornaments would hang on, and that size is this. I can't remember off the top of my head. yeah, so those were the ingredients. Oh, and a bag of polyfill, which was pretty cheap, and I still have a ton left if I ever decide to go into like anything else where I need stuffing for projects. All right, so did I achieve my goals with these? My first goal was to get more comfortable with color work. Yes. I definitely achieved that. I noticed it just took me like the first few to really kind of work out the tension that I needed for them, and specifically how to tension like floats when I'm catching them, especially across the jumps between the needles was the most challenging part. But yeah, I would definitely knit color work again at this point. Definitely in the round again. I've done it flat before, and that was what kind of turned me off, and I didn't realize what a difference it makes to do it in the round. So yeah, color work, check. Number 2, knit with beads, check. I loved how they turned out with the beads. It is going to just be the most beautiful, sparkly detail. With the lights on the Christmas trees, I noticed in my room at night, they just look so beautiful. Like they would totally catch the candlelight. It is still a little tricky to me to knit with beads. I don't like having to count them all out beforehand. But I would say I got more comfortable doing it as I went along, and also the results were just so worth it that I feel like it's something I'll definitely incorporate into my projects in the future. And third goal was making a keepsake Christmas present for everyone on my list. I guess time will kind of tell with this one, but I think so. I was really glad I splurged for real wool, 100% wool yarn. I think it's just so Christmassy, and the feeling of knitting with it was so nice. I'm not the kind of person that can wear wool next to skin, especially kind of a more rustic one like the patterns I was using. But in my hands, it's fine, and it's such an enjoyable feeling to knit with. Like you can just feel the bounciness and the like properties that make wool so special as a textile to knit with. So it was really fun for me to knit with them. I think that was part of why it was so addictive to make them. And I think it's just more special that they're like, you know, Christmas is all about tradition and whatever. So I think having them be made out of that and just having those properties will make them even more special, a keepsake. However, I will recommend to family members that I'm giving them to you know, have some kind of protection in there, so they don't get moth-eaten. Yeah. All right, so 3 goals, I think 3 check marks, unless somebody decides they hate it and then it's not a keepsake, which I don't think anybody will. All right, what I liked about this project, finishing the little Christmas balls was addictive. It was so fun. They come off the needle so fast. And I would stuff and finish off each one with the crochet chain and sewing it closed as soon as I finished them, because it's so fun to see them like stuffed and sitting on my windowsill all lining up in a row. So it was really quick and fun and rewarding to finish each one and see it like beautiful and all finished on my windowsill. They were really sparkly at night, as I said. So I think it was even more fun for me to get to enjoy that sparkle with them all decorating my room before I start giving them away. The beads for initials was a great idea. I was thinking of doing them just in color work for the initials, like white against a red background, but I'm really glad that I went for the beads because it adds a whole other dimension to it. Even if it is kind of a pain to execute the bead stitch while catching floats.
because then you have a lot of like twisting and pulling the bead up the yarn behind it to think about. What I didn't like about this project, it definitely wasn't all smooth sailing. Catching the floats, especially across, whoa, it's okay, daddy's home, jumps between double pointed needles, and especially with the increased rows was pretty tough, but you get used to it over time, and eventually I had it kind of down to a science. So without further ado, here are all 10 Christmas ornaments lined up, and yeah, I would highly recommend this project, and I'm going to try to chart up the one that I created a pattern for, and put a link to that on my Etsy as a free download, as well as a link to the book if you're interested in knitting these. I'm not gonna obviously link any of their patterns because those are theirs, but I'm gonna link mine. And Cora's wagging because my dad is home. So I will wrap this up. Thanks for joining me. Let me know if you're interested in any more knitting content. For me, I will get back to bullet journaling, I think, in the new year. I took a little bit of a break over these past couple months just because I was working on other stuff and applying for jobs and all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.